Ladies and gentlemen, what next for ODM rebel MPs after Raila Odinga finally kicked them out of the party? That is the question which majority of Kenyans are currently asking. And will they be able to survive Raila Odinga's wrath? I've been going through comments online and I've come to the conclusion that majority of UDA supporters are very angry and very bitter with Raila Odinga for kicking out the rebel MPs from the party. And because of that, I tend to think, and I'm convinced, that was the right move by Raila Amolo Odinga. And there's this tweet which they are circulating, just before we get into what next for them. Let me pick it from a lady called Bianca. There's a tweet which they've been circulating. The tweet says, number one, William Ruto parted ways with Raila Odinga. He is now the president of the Republic of Kenya. Which is true, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. But what do you think William Ruto did right that made him become the president of the Republic of Kenya after parting ways with Raila Odinga? The truth of the matter is that the moment William Ruto felt that he could no longer be in ODM party, he resigned. And William Ruto formed his party. And he grew that party. As fate would have it, he is now the president of the Republic of Kenya. The same way Raila Odinga also decided to leave Ford Kenya and joined his own political party. None of the rebel MPs are even planning to resign from ODM party, leave alone forming their own party. If you ask me, none of the 6 MPs, are they 4 MPs from Nyanza can afford or can run a party.
We have absolutely no apologies to make for the positions we took and for whatever the consequences that have come. We will take these consequences in its stride with our heads high up, knowing very well that we lived by the principles that we believed in. And we are telling the remnants in ODM, see you at the general.
Nilipokuwa niko na shida na chama cha Ford Kenya, nilijiuzulu, nikawacha chama, nikajiuzulu kwa bunge, nikarudi kwa wananchi. Ndio sababu mimi nataka kuambia kwamba mkitaka kuonyesha Wakenya msimamo sawa sawa, mkitaka kuonyesha Wakenya msimamo bora ya demokrasia, basi muwe watu ambao unaongoza na kwa mfano. Uwe mfano. Kama utaki KANU, utaki NDP, toka rudi kwa wananchi, tafuta maendeleo.
Number 2, they're also saying in this tweet that Musalia Mudavadi parted ways with Raila Odinga. He's now prime cabinet secretary. Let us agree, the position Musalia Mudavadi is holding in the Republic of Kenya is unconstitutional. It's illegal. It should not be mentioned anywhere. And that's why they're trying to sneak it through the bipartisan talks. But let us face the reality. Musalia Mudavadi was with Raila Odinga. When he was with Raila Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi was the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Immediately, Musalia Mudavadi parted ways with Raila Odinga. What do you think happened to Mudavadi? Mudavadi was sent home by none other than Akaranga in Vihiga, Sabatia constituency, his own constituency. He was sent home. Then what happened next? It is the same Raila Odinga who went and picked Musalia Mudavadi from the political oblivion. I remember so well because he was defeated in 2013. Raila went and picked him from the political oblivion. I remember so well that day we were in Katwana when he joined NASA. And that's how Raila Odinga revived his politics. After that election, during that election, Musalia Mudavadi managed to win several seats in Luhya Nation. The moment he parted ways with Raila Odinga in the last election, how many members of parliament do you think Mudavadi is controlling in the Luhya Nation? Kakamega alone, which he had majority, he doesn't have majority anymore. So the reality is, Musalia Mudavadi and Raila Odinga's politics, whenever he's with Raila, he's always thriving. Whenever he's not with Raila, he's not thriving. And that's why even right now, his fate is lying on the bipartisan talks. Otherwise, someone will go to court, his position will go. And someone is also saying here, oh, Ababu Namwamba parted ways with Raila Odinga, is now CS for sports. Let us face the reality. The moment Ababu Namwamba parted ways with Raila Odinga, he's never been able to recapture his seat, the Budalangi parliamentary seat. He was defeated until he gave up. In fact, in the last election, Ababu Namwamba did not have a chance. He surrendered. As a matter of fact, he's now serving under the mercy of William Ruto. Uhuru Kenyatta helped him a bit by appointing him to some non-existent post of the Chief Administrative Secretary, Foreign Affairs. That's how he survived. He's just surviving. Currently, he's surviving as a cabinet secretary. You can't say to a politician that's a success. And because, of course, in our constitution, ministers are not supposed to be politicians. So as a politician, Ababu Namwamba, since parting ways with Raila Odinga, has never succeeded. Let us go to the next person they are saying here. Moses Wetangula parted ways with Raila Odinga. He's now Speaker of the National Assembly. Of course, Moses Wetangula, you can't say has been with Raila Odinga for that much because, Ford Kenya and ODM and Raila, the way they've been. But the truth is, when Moses Masika Wetangula was being sent home by Muskari Kombo, you remember that by election? Who saved him? The person who saved him was none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. Again, when he had no chance in after Kibaki's rule, what happened? He came and found solace around Raila Odinga. He became a principal in NASA. He was appointed as the minority leader. So the truth is, he was still a politician. Next person, they are saying, Aisha Jumwa parted ways with Raila Odinga. She's now Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Affirmative Action, and Gender. The truth of the matter is that Aisha Jumwa never wanted to be a Cabinet Secretary. William Ruto saved him. Just shame. The truth is, Aisha Jumwa parted ways with Raila Odinga. She contested for Kilifi gubernatorial seat. What happened? Aisha Jumwa was beaten kama Burukenge. Those are the realities. But as much as they're giving these few examples, how many politicians have parted ways with Raila Odinga? And how many have succeeded? How many? Just like you are giving cases of those who've parted ways with Raila Odinga and succeeded, there are those politicians who have succeeded by being close to Raila Odinga. Several of them. People like Anyang' Nyong'o parted ways with Raila Odinga, came back. People like Orengo, they're now governors. So many people, the Turkana governor, so many of them. People like so many. But I know in Luo Nyanza, because in 2013, several of my friends, young guys, joined politics. The same way Ruto is cheating these ones is the same way William Ruto cheated them to oppose Raila, that they were going to make a comeback. None of them managed. None of them. None. And I have a list of over 500 politicians who've parted ways with Raila Odinga but have never recovered politically. Several of them. Some of them were able to make a comeback. I can even give you an example of the guy whose election is being nullified. It's called Kombo, the Magarini member of parliament, who opposed Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga brought Kingi. Kingi succeeded. You get it? Then after that, what happened to is it Harrison Kombo? What happened to him? When Kingi decided to join Kenya Kwanza, Raila Odinga, he came to Raila Odinga. He's now a member of parliament. So there are those stories, but that's not the import of this analysis. In this video, I want us to look at what next for this rebel ODM MPs. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. What next? For me, these rebel MPs have only 5 options, which they can pick 1 or 2 of them. The first option, which is the best and the most honorable thing for them, is to resign and seek for fresh mandate. But can they do it? If I were Jalango Felix, I would do that. I'd resign. Then I'll ask Ruto to help me retain my seat under UDA party. Because for Langata, I am sure with the help of Ruto, currently, he can't succeed. But I think he doesn't want to gamble. For Elisha, that would be direct ticket home. For Ochanda, direct ticket home. My senator, I said yesterday, should just forget politics. It's not meant for politics. Ojienda. Tom Ojienda is not meant for politics. But for Jalango, the best thing he can do, if I were to be asked, is to think very hard. Then resign. Then contest under UDA party. Then you ask Ruto to support you. That is, for me, the best thing. That's what honorable people do. The second option for them is to engage ODM party through court process. And I've gathered that Tom Ojienda is willing to do this. And if you go to Twitter, there's some interesting thing here. There is some people are shameless. If you go to Twitter, there is a member of parliament. There is a member of parliament from Mount Kenya. It's called, there is this member of parliament. Let me just get, it's called Wakili Murui. This guy is on TV. Is the Katanga member of parliament. Is advising Jalango and the group that is going to defend them. You know, this is a member of parliament. You know, Ruto has made it impossible for any member of parliament from his stronghold, whether you are a Kalenjin or Kikuyu, you cannot speak. This member of parliament tried speaking about 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. He was shut up. He can never speak again. Now he's free to offer unsolicited advice to ODM party. I want to challenge any leader from Mount Kenya who is serious and honest with what he means to oppose Ruto and talk about 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, if there are men enough. Wamuchomba tried that. You know what happened to Wamuchomba the next day? William Ruto and the entire machinery went to her constituency just to make her toe the line. So they can engage the party through legal process. And of course, the intention would be to drag the party until the election time, which would be a good move for them. And again, it will also help Raila Odinga and the team. This is what Ojienda is planning to do. Is planning to sponsor, to support all these people. And you know, being a senior counsel, having been one of the cartels in the courts, he will have his way. Yeah, but even if that were to happen, at the end of the day, Debe. The third thing for them is to identify a party and start selling that party this time. The time is now. Because the truth is, if you look at the record of success of those who always oppose Raila Odinga in Nyanza, the record is not very impressive. Not very impressive. So, they need to start selling a party and convince the people of Nyanza that you voted for me on ODM party to go and defend Raila Odinga, because that's what they normally tell people, that 1 year awadi konyo Raila malo. Sisi tunachaguliwa twende tusalie Raila juu. That is normally the campaign theme in this region. Then they'll have to come to the people and tell them that us, we were helping Raila up there, but he didn't want. And because of that, now we have our own party. Mapema ndio best. They need to start selling that party. And if they are planning to run on UDA party, then they need to start selling that UDA party. Number 4, they should wait and monitor Raila Odinga's next move. Just like I explained yesterday, Raila Odinga is not going to allow Ruto to do to him what he did to Uhuru in Mount Kenya. That's not going to happen. ODM will not allow that. I'm telling you. ODM will not allow Ruto to run amok on ODM the way he did in Mount Kenya. It's not going to happen. Ruto has that plans. But those plans in ODM, they're not going to happen. So they need to wait and see what Raila Odinga is trying to do. Because it's going to reach a point where, ODM has the policy of, they call it Otada Section 2, for those who understand politics of this side. When they talk of Otada Section 2, Otada was a nickname of Jakoi, which means thorax. Then it means some of these members of parliament would not even be allowed to attend any function in their area using men in black. So when it will reach that point, then it will be very bad for some of these MPs. But they need to start selling their party. If that party is going to be UDA, they need to start convincing the Luo people who rejected UDA party almost 96% that now that's the party of choice. And lastly, some of them can decide to quit because you can sit down and figure out what the need of contesting and losing. I'd rather take a break, then make a comeback. Something like what Ababu did. Ababu Namwandamba realized that he could not win the Budalangi seat again as long as he was opposing Raila Odinga. Then he decided, okay, for me, I'm not going to contest. So they can do something like that. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.